What happens when an HOA Karen thinks she can take away a man's dog, only to find out it's not just a pet, but a legally protected service animal? This isn't just a story about rules, it's about a fight for dignity, rights, and the unbreakable bond between a man and his best friend. And trust me, you won't believe how it ends. For 3 years, Daniel had lived peacefully in his small suburban home. He wasn't a man of extravagance, but he cherished the little things: morning walks, coffee on his porch, and most importantly, his golden retriever named Max. Max wasn't just a pet, he was Daniel's lifeline. After a car accident years ago left Daniel struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder and occasional mobility challenges, Max had been trained as a service animal. He could sense Daniel's panic attacks before they escalated, bring him medication when needed, and even nudge him gently to guide him away from overwhelming environments. To Daniel, Max was more than family. He was protection, comfort, and independence wrapped into one. For a long time, their community was peaceful. Daniel kept to himself, paid his HOA dues, and avoided conflict. But every quiet neighborhood seems to have that one person who thrives on control, rules, and drama. In Daniel's neighborhood, that person was Karen, the self-appointed watchdog of the HOA. It began with a letter in his mailbox. "Dear homeowner," it read, "your dog exceeds the HOA's pet size regulations. All dogs must be under 40 pounds, and your violation must be corrected within 14 days. Daniel's brow furrowed as he read the note. Max wasn't some backyard pet, he was a registered service animal. Service dogs were legally exempt from such restrictions. Daniel calmly called the HOA office, explaining Max's role and providing the paperwork that certified him as a service animal. The manager on the phone had been polite and understanding. "That should settle it, Mr. Rivera," she said. "I'll make a note in your file. You won't have to worry about it again." But Karen wasn't the type to let things go. 2 weeks later, Daniel found Karen standing at the edge of his yard, phone in hand, snapping pictures of Max as he played fetch. "You know that dog isn't allowed here," she barked, her tone sharp. "I've lived here for 20 years and rules are rules. If everyone had big dogs, this neighborhood would be a mess." Daniel stayed calm. "Ma'am, Max isn't just a pet. He's a service animal. I've already provided all the documentation to the HOA." Karen scoffed. "Service animal? That's just what people say when they don't want to follow the rules. He's too big. He's noisy. He doesn't belong here." Daniel wanted to walk away, but his hands trembled. Confrontations always made his anxiety spike, and Max sensed it immediately. The golden retriever pressed gently against Daniel's leg, grounding him. "Please," Daniel said quietly, "he helps me. He's not going anywhere." From that day on, Karen made it her mission to expose Daniel and Max. She filed multiple complaints to the HOA, alleging that Max barked excessively, roamed off-leash, and intimidated children. None of it was true. Daniel was meticulous. Max was trained, quiet, and always leashed. Still, the letters kept coming. Every week, another notice. Every week, another demand for Daniel to remove the violation. Daniel started to dread checking his mailbox. His anxiety flared. He couldn't sleep at night, fearing what Karen might try next. Max, sensing his distress, never left his side. One evening, as Daniel sat on the porch trying to calm his racing thoughts, Karen stormed up the walkway. "I've warned you enough," she snapped. "If you don't get rid of that dog, I'll have animal control take him myself." Daniel froze. "You can't do that. He's protected by law." Karen smirked. "We'll see what the law has to say." Karen pushed the HOA board to hold a hearing about Daniel's violations. Flyers appeared in neighbors' mailboxes, and whispers began to spread. Some neighbors were sympathetic, others indifferent, but Karen's voice was the loudest. The night of the hearing, Daniel walked into the community hall with Max by his side. Karen sat in the front row, arms crossed, glaring like she'd already won. The HOA president cleared his throat. "We're here to address ongoing complaints regarding Mr. Rivera's dog." Daniel stood, his palms sweating. "Max is not a pet," he said firmly. "He is a trained service animal. I have provided documentation, And under federal law, he cannot be restricted by HOA rules. Karen shot up from her chair. That's nonsense. That dog is huge. He scares children. He barks at night. Service animal or not, this neighborhood has rules. Daniel pulled a folder from his bag. Inside were letters from his doctor, legal documents, and certification papers. He laid them on the table for everyone to see. Max isn't a choice for me, Daniel continued, his voice steady. He's a necessity. Without him, I can't live a normal life. The room fell silent. Even the board members exchanged uneasy glances. Karen's face reddened with frustration, but the law was clear. The HOA ruled in Daniel's favor. They acknowledged his legal right to keep Max and issued a warning to Karen to stop harassing him. But Karen didn't take the loss gracefully. Over the following weeks, she tried to rally other neighbors, spreading rumors about Daniel. She claimed he was faking his condition and that Max was just a pet he spoiled. What Karen didn't expect was the neighborhood to push back. Several neighbors, tired of her bullying, came forward to support Daniel. One mother stood up at the next HOA meeting and said, "My children love Max. He's gentle and sweet. The only person causing problems here is Karen." Bit by bit, Karen's influence crumbled. The more she pushed, the more isolated she became. Months later, Daniel received a letter from the HOA, not a complaint, but an apology. The board admitted they had mishandled the situation by allowing Karen's harassment to go so far. They assured him that his rights would be respected moving forward. Karen, meanwhile, faced consequences of her own. After repeated incidents of harassment against multiple neighbors, she was removed from her position on the HOA board. Her reign of control was over. One evening, Daniel sat on his porch with Max resting at his feet. The air felt lighter, calmer. For the first time in months, he felt safe in his own home. Max lifted his head, sensing Daniel's peace, and wagged his tail. Daniel smiled and whispered, "We did it, buddy." Karen had tried to take his lifeline away, but in the end, the truth prevailed. Max wasn't just a dog, he was proof that no amount of bullying could strip away someone's dignity, rights, or strength.